All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So I hope everybody out there is having a great holiday weekend. If you're in the United States, if you're not, hope you had a great weekend regardless. Cryptocurrency prices looked like they were making a little bit of a move over the weekend, and there's one crypto in particular that went up 25x in about 3 days. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. Look at a lot of other news updates that have happened since our live stream we did on Friday. We do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just turn on notifications, subscribe to the channel down below. You'll find out about those whenever they come out. If you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to fifinish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We've got Culture Highs, Nguyen, I hope I said that right, Rodrigo, Automatic, Saran, Chip, Bomi, Steven, Abhishek. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So again, hope everybody's having a good had a good weekend. If you're in the United States, you got today off. I hope you're having a good holiday weekend. Trying to change things up around here a little bit. You might notice I'm in a different studio that I normally shoot in, trying to get the sound just right for you all. I'm gonna probably change this backdrop pretty soon, so it doesn't look like I'm just in like a box with some milk crates on the wall. It's actually real like soundproofing, so I hope this sounds better for everybody. So anyways, let's get into this project that went up, 25x in a matter of 3 days. So this has got a lot of people up in arms on Twitter. This is so polarizing. Some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. So what is it? So it's the Million token, and you might have just seen me actually flash that here on the screen. So this is actually a cryptocurrency created by YouTuber The Tech Lead. So I've followed this guy for a long time. You might have seen his videos floating around, especially about crypto. He's been talking about it a lot lately. And he actually created his own coin a few days ago and launched it, called the Million token. It started out at $1, and it peaked up over, I want to say $25. I think maybe even a little bit higher than that over the past couple days. You can see it's been trading here on Uniswap. Okay, so this has got some people so polarized, like everybody on crypto Twitter saying, hey, this is a scam. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And then, of course, some people have gotten in on this pump and have made a bunch of money. So I want to kind of talk about this, like what my thoughts on this are, tell you, how this thing works. And also, an invitation to the Tech Lead. Hey, if you want to come on the channel and talk about this, we would love to have you. All right. So let's start off with the token itself. People are worried about this because they say, hey, this is like, a worthless token. Like he's just scamming people. He's going to dump this on all his followers, all that type of stuff. So I would definitely come back and say like, hey, watch this guy's videos. So much of what he said about crypto over the past several weeks or months has really been like satire. And a lot of stuff he does on his channel in the first place is satire. I mean, he gets a lot of hate on Twitter for salty people because everything in his video titles says as a millionaire. He always kind of obnoxiously pushes that down your throat, as a Facebook, ex-Google, ex-Facebook tech lead as a millionaire. He talks about crypto that way. Does a lot of disses on crypto. A lot of it is satire, okay? So, some people say, oh, hey, it's not really even if it's satire, even if he's still dumping tokens on people, then that's not cool either. So what I would say is, it definitely he's approaching this like an opportunist, and people say, hey, he's just jumping on this crypto trend and just cashing out, but hey, maybe that's not good either. So what I'll say is wait and see, because another thing we see in crypto is some projects just starting off as sort of a wait and see model, and some people say, hey, this is a scam, and then sometimes these projects actually move forward and gain some legitimacy over time. So we'll see what happens in that regard, because at the end of the day, I mean, this guy does have a reputation to uphold. He has a a face out there in the wild. Not to mention the amount of legal issues that could come out for something like this. So if you think about the incentives of hey, this guy probably doesn't want to go to jail. You know what I mean? You have to take that into consideration with what could come of this project down the future or down the line. So that's why I'm in the category of hey, let's not jump to too many conclusions right now. Let's wait and see. So like I said, I'd love to have Tech Lead come on the channel, talk about this type of thing, clear the air with what, crypto Twitter should think about this, with what, everybody who's kind of been in crypto for a while should think about this project, maybe offer some clarity on this type of thing. So let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Yeah, totally. So let's actually take a look at this paper here. So this is the million token, and again, this is kind of riffing off of his tagline that he does on all his videos. As a millionaire, all this type of stuff. So the million token is a decentralized digital currency pegged to a minimum value of $1 with a fixed supply of 1 million tokens for a total market cap of 1 million USDC. Token was founded by tech lead, ex-Google, ex-Facebook tech lead with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, as a millionaire. Again, this is all satire. Like, this is blatantly obvious from just the copy that's written here on the page. So you can see that basically he just created the token. He listed it on Uniswap. And the trading just started off and went like absolutely crazy, right? It went up to over $25 per token, and saw a pretty big correction here. The price is not going down after that. So yeah, but one couple final points I want to make with this, like I said, I know it's been pretty polarizing for a lot of people, which is this guy's a developer, and you can see the power. The power that you have as a developer to create something like this. Now, at the end of the day, I would like to see more cryptocurrencies be created for legitimate use cases with blockchain, do something with it, particularly in DeFi where the token actually has some sort of utility in the ecosystem. Like I said, I'm still in the wait and see category of I don't want to jump to too many conclusions. This project could, evolve into something like legitimate over time. So I'm not making any judgments from out the gate, but this does show you how little friction there is to getting started to creating something like that. And if you actually want to create a token that has some utility in a DeFi ecosystem that can do something that could actually give people a reason to hold it rather than just number go up, then there's if you have the technical skills to do that, look how quickly you can create something like this that's very powerful. Okay, with a way to get the word out online and actually spread that and build a community. So, and that's another possibility of this use case is literally just like a community token, all right? So don't rule that out either. But the final point I was going to make about this is basically, I want to talk about the cryptocurrency prices here in a minute because we have seen things kind of pump over the weekend. And typically you're not going to see these types of pumps happen when crypto isn't just a massive crypto winter, okay? And some people have kind of said hey, is the crypto market dead? Are we in this crazy bear trend like we were in 2018? Well, I'll put it this way. Basically, when cryptocurrency prices crashed like crazy after the 2017 bubble and went into this massive bear trend in 2018, then basically you wouldn't see any life in altcoins pump like this, okay? You wouldn't basically see cryptos go up 25x in 3 days, okay? So this could be a good sign. And some people say, hey, well, that's not really a fair comparison because, this is a cryptocurrency that was launched to people who are maybe outside of crypto, aren't necessarily inside the system and won't follow the same rules as the overall crypto bear markets, bull market cycles. But I don't think it's actually true because this token was listed on Uniswap and, buying a token like this on, Uniswap has a higher barrier of entry for most people who are in crypto. So it's actually probably going to be people who are more proficient with crypto. And for that reason, I think this type of project pumping is actually a pretty good sign that there's still some, big interest overall in crypto with what's happening right now. So that being said, let's actually go check on the prices because again, we did have pretty good price action over the weekend. So let's just pull that from my screen here. I'll pull the Bitcoin price. Okay, let's see here. So let's just check and see what's happening here. So Bitcoin, we had three green candles in a row. All right, Bitcoin got up to about, let's see here. It was getting really close to $36,000. And a lot of people are talking about $36,000 as being kind of like a critical resistance point. They would like to see Bitcoin sort of break this confidently before we, kind of get out of this range in here. Okay, we've kind of been stuck in this range of $30,000 to $40,000 for the past several weeks, all right? And we're kind of in this critical point where you see these lower lows being made, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. And you see kind of a double bottom here. Now, what we'd like to see is Bitcoin start to make higher lows, which we're kind of getting pretty close to this line here, all right? But ideally, we want to see Bitcoin, not break down below this of course, we could go lower. All right. So the whole point we're trying to make here is we're stuck in this range. We need to break some levels a little bit higher than this to get out of this range, get above these moving averages. And the convincing thing that's going to start seeing us move in that direction is making higher lows here. So we can also check on the Ether price, because Ether performed pretty well over the weekend as well. I'll just check on the Coinbase price here. Of course, we're trying to, all the candles basically are losing a day's worth of gains. So Ether here, we got up to, let's see, 2,384. We're really trying to break $2,400. We're kind of losing a lot of the ground we made over the past day with this red candle here for sure. But same story with Ether. I don't think we're in a situation where Ether's just going to like lead the market and rip off into infinity and leave, Bitcoin the dust if it's trying to still make up its mind. So I think we do want Bitcoin to make up its mind before the overall crypto market kind of figures out whether it wants to be bullish or bearish. And so I actually posted a tweet on my Twitter here. Let me just pull it up, kind of polling people, wondering, hey, are we, did we bottom yet? And it was crazy what the results were. Okay, so I took a screenshot of this. Where basically it was 50-50 after the first 312 votes. Okay. So it's crazy like how split people are on their perception of this market. So we can see that it's been updated and there's been more people vote now. And people said kind of, like leaning a little more towards no. And that was sort of the initial poll results were leaning towards no, but after a while it really stabilized out to 50-50 and stayed there for a while. Okay, and of course, there could be some bias in this, whether the price is going up or down when people saw the poll, all that type of stuff. But this is a pretty interesting social sentiment checker to see, what people are thinking about the overall market. So speaking of social sentiment, we can look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, the Ether Fear and Greed Index. We can see that here. So the current social sentiment for Bitcoin Fear and Greed is 29. So that's in the fear category. All right, we've been in extreme fear for a while, which is kind of crazy. All right, that's when you see people not like wanting to put any money in the marketplace. And this, of course, is analyzing it from social sentiment. So it basically scrapes online conversations about the cryptocurrency and analyzes them. It checks the actual sentiment of the content of the speech, and it tries to decide what's the emotion, what's the predominant emotion that people are communicating with this speech. And it weights that. And then right now we're in 29. So we can look at the same thing for Ether. So Ethereum Fear and Greed Index is neutral as of 19 hours ago. So I bet if this was updated, today, it would probably be a little bit more towards the fear side of things. But that's at least what this is telling us. All right, so let's actually look at a couple other important things for the overall Bitcoin and crypto space right now. One of the biggest reasons that we saw, Bitcoin drop, well, not necessarily, there's lots of reasons why the Bitcoin price can drop, right? And it's always hard to, point out one specific factor that says, hey, because this happened, this is exactly why this happened. There's always multiple factors involved. It's a market with multiple participants that acts, to act different ways to a variety of different, cause and effect scenarios. So basically, one thing that has been a huge factor, though, that's kind of undeniable is what's being on with China, basically pushing out Bitcoin miners. And as a result, we've seen the Bitcoin mining difficulty drop significantly, all right? And we can actually track this. You can see the Bitcoin mining difficulty and what it's done over time here. And it's just like absolutely, just dropping off like crazy. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know what Bitcoin mining difficulty is, basically Bitcoin has this difficulty bomb where basically, as more people mine Bitcoin, it kind of becomes less profitable and so you have a difficulty. So basically, whenever you do Bitcoin mining, you have proof of work, okay? So miners essentially solve these cryptographic puzzles to try to, guess a random number before they can include blocks into the blockchain, all right? So basically, if you're trying to send a Bitcoin transaction, it makes this round trip to the blockchain, and these nodes called miners essentially try to guess this try to solve this puzzle, guess a number, and the first person to get it right includes into the block. That's what Bitcoin mining is, okay? Now, these puzzles get increasingly difficult the more people try to solve them. That's what the mining difficulty is, okay? And part of this really helps secure the network, okay? So basically, whenever less people want to mine, basically the profitability, I guess what I'm saying is the profitability of those things gets lower the more people try to do it as they get harder, right? That's the difficulty is. And so when less people want to do it, it gets easier. So harder and easier. And the reason for that is because it's an incentive mechanism, okay? So basically when less people want to mine Bitcoin needs more people to help secure the network, so it makes it easier / more profitable to do it when less people want to do it. So that encourages more people to actually come on and participate in mining, and so to help secure the network. And so that's what we're seeing. Basically, when people fleeing Bitcoin mining from China, migrating to other places, the mining difficulty going down. But the point I'm trying to make is Bitcoin has this really amazing built-in mechanism called the difficulty bomb that, because people have left, it's now more attractive for other people to jump on and start mining. So I think this problem will take care of itself over time. And so another reason for that is, a lot of mining in Bitcoin in China that's gotten, banned or pushed out, essentially a lot of it's just going to go somewhere else, okay? And we've seen places like Texas become friendly for Bitcoin miners who are trying to leave China. Other countries as well who are going to, make it easier. So I don't see this being like a massive existential threat for the Bitcoin network long term or anything like that. I think it just scared a lot of people and they wanted to get out of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Because they don't know what's going to happen. But, to me, it's one of those things where it's to the test of time. The mining difficulty is a pretty amazing mechanism that I think is going to help, sustain the network over time. So I'm not too worried about it. So what do you all think down in the comment section below? What will happen to MM when ETH 2.0 gets launched? So million token. So should basically just migrate over ETH 2. Yeah. Somebody says million token by tech lead is the next Lambo dealer. That's awesome. Okay, so another thing that I talk about. So actually, regarding million token, we were talking about at the beginning of this stream. Basically, I saw this tweet come out from Raul Paul yesterday. It's, again, if you don't know who he is, we've talked about him a lot on this channel as being a pretty influential, thought leader in this space about cryptocurrencies. And I started following him. He has a pretty impressive background from traditional finance. You know what I mean? But I've been more interested in what he's actually said about crypto, just because, hey, he's been right about a lot of stuff. He called a lot of the bottoms that were happening in the beginning of this bull run. Has made some pretty lofty predictions about where he thinks the prices of these cryptos are going to head over the next, year plus. Anyways. So just speaking of these tokens and their relevance, something like million token versus others, he says, how to allocate crypto. Basically, does the project have provable network effects? All right. Talking about network effect is think about network effect like this. Think about what gives a social network value. Okay. If you were to create a Facebook, for example, right now, let's say you're a developer and you go build your own social network like Facebook, it's going to be insanely hard to compete with Facebook because Facebook has so many users on it. That's the network effect is. That's what gives it value. The more people use Facebook, the more valuable the actual product is. It's not really that hard to code a Facebook competitor or a simple Facebook competitor, to put it that way. What is hard is getting basically, 1 billion people to use your product, okay? So the same thing for cryptocurrencies. So what he's saying, how to allocate crypto, how to pick valuable projects, does a project have provable network effect, kind of like Facebook with 1 billion users, or does it have or might have future network effects. Okay, so the former, so does it have network effects, suggests a higher allocation of risk budget, or basically you want to be more in those type of projects, and the latter less. Okay, so it says Bitcoin and Ether. As Bitcoin, especially Ether, have it all. Others are yet uncertain. So ETH is growing exponentially. So that resonates a lot with them. I'm talking about on this channel. That's one reason I talk about Ethereum so much, and why I work with it, as a technology, is because it's, it has that network effect, not just of users, but also developers who build out the technology itself. And so he's also very generous, and he talks about other projects, about could this project have network effects down the road. And that's kind of what I'm talking about with the million token that we talked about at the beginning of this video. It's like, it might start off with a big bang with the community and then be very polarizing. Some people like write it off completely, say it's a scam, but it's like, is it one of those projects that could have a network effect? Could it evolve as a community token? Could it evolve as that? All right, so you have to keep these things with an open mind. All right. But that being said, it's a way riskier play, which is also reflected by this. So, talking about cryptos that have a very strong network effect like ETH, BTC, very, very, very clear history of this type of thing. ETH also very clear history, but also headed up exponentially based on the data versus other things that don't quite have that. Somebody says halving will be 2023, so the price will do 2x or 4x. Somebody says it's kind of why I stopped going after BNB. Not enough people using it. Keeps getting banned. Feels like ETH and Tezos are big ones to watch. Somebody says million token for the millionaires. Somebody says, I hear all these crypto YouTubers talking about an exit strategy. When I bought Bitcoin and Ether, I wanted to forget about it and relax for a few years. Can I address this? Yeah, totally. So there's lots of perspectives on this. Some people say like, hey, I bought crypto because I'm exiting, the fiat system or traditional finance or whatever, and I'm never going back. Or some people are just thinking like, hey, I want to buy this and not looking for a short-term flip. I just want to hold on to it for a long time. You can definitely do that. So I don't think we're at the phase of crypto adoption where we're, escaping at least the risk of a long-term bear market, like a multi-year bear market, right? Right now, we're going to figure out if that's going to happen. Cryptocurrency prices have fallen down quite a bit over the past, 2 months now. And just like I showed you a minute ago on these tweets, if you're tuning to the stream, like people are kind of like 50-50 scratching their heads, like, have we bottomed yet or not? And so if we have bottomed, then crypto can do one of two things. It can either range sideways, roughly speaking, for a while, and then, establish some sort of bullish upward trend, or it can establish some bullish upward trend now and just like continue on, and then maybe it'll peak out and then have a drop of some kind, maybe a longer bear market. But the whole point I'm trying to make is a lot of people are banking on the fact that we are going to have some sort of really long, prolonged bear market. And that's why a lot of these YouTubers or whoever it is talking about cashing out is they want to try to catch the peak of that and then get out of the crypto markets and sort of wait for the prices to drop down to the floor and then accumulate and start the cycle over. That's the assumption that crypto is essentially in this gigantic cyclical bubble, like massive bubble that's going to just keep doing this over time as like new sort of hypey technologies hit the scene and cause people to get excited about the prices themselves. So, time will tell. Like there's multiple kind of beliefs on this. Some people say super cycle, where essentially like crypto is kind of just in this general upward trend, and the corrections won't be as severe as they were before or prolonged. Like, for example, maybe the Bitcoin price drops by roughly 50%, but kind of slowly recovers back to its all-time high a lot faster than it did last time. That could still be evidence of a super cycle. And then some people say, no, it's just basically the same like last time. Like we just have these massive boom and bust cycles when we enter into multi-year bear markets after that. So I would say this. I think I saw a stat the other day saying that something like anybody who bought Bitcoin and held on to it for like 3 or 3.5 years, something like that. If you've ever done that, you've always been in profit. You have to fact check me on that. I'm not exactly sure if that statistic is 100% accurate, but it seems like it's close. And so this person is saying like, hey, I bought this stuff I wanted to chill for a few years. If you have a long enough time horizon for really quality stuff like Bitcoin and Ether, of course, not financial advice. This is my opinion. This is how I would think about it. then I mean, I personally have a long time horizon, and I think that's a solid bet. I don't think it's a solid bet necessarily for really new projects that haven't proven themselves yet. A lot like this tweet that we're talking about here, So things that, haven't proven these network effects, that don't have a bunch of apps built on top of them, that don't have, institutions buying them, that don't have them listed on, publicly traded companies' balance sheets. There's like this crude sort of analogy or heuristic, I would say, where you kind of say like, hey, if you had to go into a coma for 5 years, like what would you want to be holding throughout that entire period? And, I would put Bitcoin and ETH on that list, but I wouldn't put a lot of other things on that list because they don't have these types of network effects that we're talking about. So let's see here. Somebody says Bitcoin has just sponsored a race car driver. A big Litecoin decal goes on the car for the NASCAR season. Or Litecoin has just sponsored a NASCAR driver, sorry. Yeah, it's crazy. Somebody says I'm bullish on long-term crypto. Yeah, totally. Somebody says maybe he goes sideways for a while. I'm okay with a slow bull. Too fast causes drops too fast. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. It's one of those things where I'd prefer crypto to go up, 25% in like a month. That'd be awesome, and just do that over and over and over and over again. That's just a statistic kind of thrown out of my head. I've actually done the math on that, but when stuff starts doubling over month after month, that's when things get really frothy, and you know that some correction is headed pretty fast. Baby Doge, yeah. So we do have a lot of exciting stuff coming up for Ethereum, as I've repeated many times on these live streams, but do want to keep y'all just in the loop thinking about this type of stuff. We do have EIP 1559 slated for launch, end of July, which is this month, or kind of beginning to mid-August. So no matter when that happens, it should be within the next 40 days, 45 days. Again, EIP 1559 is with a big network upgrade for Ethereum that starts burning ETH with new transactions. There's lots of things that it does, but that's the benefit that gets everybody really excited, is the fact that, ETH can get burned. That can affect ETH economics, cause it to be deflationary over time. We can actually watch what's going on with Ethereum price here. Or start with the Ethereum burn on the test network. So this is live on the test network, and once we go live on the actual mainnet, you can watch this. So far on the test network, it's 89,000 ETH have been burned since they implemented this. So test network is just an environment where they make network upgrades. Developers can test things out before they push it to the actual live network where people are using real money. So all the ETH that's been burned on here isn't actually worth anything. And I expect these statistics to vary whenever the upgrade actually goes to the mainnet, simply because the usage is different. And the ETH issue will probably be different as well. So what's my guesstimate for ETH to creep back up to its all-time high? Yeah, no idea. I wish I knew. So how dangerous is a hard fork? So it just depends. All right, everybody, so that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching.